What's up, world? Welcome to another edition of the National Reentry Network for Returning Citizens Black Table Talk Podcast. Today is November 30th. It's Thursday. And today we got a topic for y'all that is kind of juicy, kind of informative. It's called How Stigmas Affect Returning Citizens. And before we get started, we're going to just introduce the cast, which is also staff. We're like the four horsemen in here today. So to my left, I have
Mr. Joseph Washington.
Next to him, we have
Mr. Foster Sellers.
And next to me, on my right, is
Damon Jones.
And I'm Travis Register, your host. And we're going to dive right off into this thing. We're going to give you 30 minutes of power. Hopefully it will inspire you and empower you to go out, man, and share what we're giving to you guys.
Yeah, so today we're talking about how stigma affects returning citizens. And a couple of areas we wanted to talk about as far as that is concerned, it focuses on employment, the right to vote, the perceived perception of stigma,
and public safety.
Oh, wow.
And public safety. So some of us may not know this, but as far as employment is concerned, a lot of stigma is tied to returning citizens looking for a job and not acquiring a job because of the fact that they're either not reliable, because they don't have the opportunity to be perceived as not committing another crime, and the list goes on and on. But the real issue is that as a returning citizen, people should not judge them based on their past mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
They should give them the opportunity to prove themselves. And we know as a fact that if you hire a returning citizen, you get a good return on your investment.
Oh, definitely.
Talk about the dollars.
Yeah, you get a good return on your investment. It's not going to be difficult for a returning citizen to say, well, wow, why didn't somebody hire me at the expense of the fact that they think that I'm going to commit another crime, right?
Right. I mean, I think I said something like this one time before, is that, it's always says that past success hinders future success, but that could be turned around the same, and to what we're talking about is like past hindrances or negative experiences you've had with returning citizens hinders success for future returning citizens. Because if you'd have had, how many employers can really say they had more than a handful of returning citizens? It's not really that many.
And the thing about it, it doesn't, more times than not, it's not that they had a negative experience with a returning citizen. That's what we see. That's the point we're talking about. The stigmas. It's just a stigma, of having a negative experience with a returning citizen.
Mm-hmm.
They, in most situations, they haven't actually had the negative experience. So it's just a stigmatization of having a negative experience without
and I ain't giving it a shot.
Right.
Okay, yeah, because we are talking about stigmas.
Right.
Yeah. So it's preconceived, right. Notion in the head that everybody come from prison, they're not going to be lazy,
unreliable,
not going to be here long. They're going to return back to prison.
But see, I know that there you got guys that come out of the penal institutions. Some are real dedicated. I mean, we were working for 12, 11, 17 cents an hour. You get us out here, give us a chance, we really going to put forth an effort to make a job. We're going to do the best we can. But you got people who've messed it up for those who are coming out. You got guys and females who mess it up for the next person. And now they got this stigmatization upon us now. They got this derogatory impression. They got this feeling inside of them, or this thought, well, all ex-convicts or all ex-reentry people are all the same, and we not. We're not. You just got to give a brother or a sister a chance.
Mm-hmm.
So that seems like, to your point, Mr. Washington, there's this whole issue within the community of those who are behind bars that we can't even get our own story straight. and it tears us apart. We got to look at, it's kind of like reach one, teach one. If someone else is coming out trying to do well for themselves, trying to make a life, trying to live, make their life better off, why would you come out and fall into the trap of what those preconceived notions are about a returning citizen, right? and not do anything to help the next person who might be coming behind you, like you were saying, who may be looking for a job, who may be looking for an opportunity, but because you burned the bridge as a returning citizen, there's a stigma that says all returning citizens are the same.
And that's what they go by. And
Yeah,
that's
but
what,
every returning citizen was a regular citizen at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So the crime I committed to go to prison, I'm not talking about me particular, but just in general, I was a regular citizen when I committed that crime.
yes,
So
sir.
that was a regular citizen committing that crime, not a returning citizen.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You see how that correlates? Like, regular citizens commit crimes,
Every day.
which
Just
sends
not
them
gone.
to prison, and then what makes them returning citizens later on. So
I mean, I'll say this. I'll use myself as an example. It better come from the horse's mouth instead of just use another horse. Me being a citizen, it's hard for me to even say citizen,
Right.
without saying returning citizens over.
Right,
but
right.
me being a citizen before me actually catching my case, going out, working, doing what needs to be done, whatever the case may be. Sometimes, a lot of times as black men, we had to, fight, and jump over a lot of hurdles, and, run through a lot of barriers and things that manner because we're just black. So we may have worked, get caught up, get locked up, and now coming out, we're a returning citizen. We didn't have, before it was like, okay, I'm a black man, but I got a job. We're going to make it happen. Now coming out, it's like, man, I can't get a job because I'm a returning citizen, or I can't get the type of job that I want because they ain't gonna give me this job because of who I am. So we was talking about earlier before we got on air about how that's a preconceived stigma that we put on ourselves.
Yeah.
right.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. I didn't know when you wanted to switch over and get into the perceived stigmas, which because first we talking about the stigmas that society put upon us. Now, if you want to get into the perceived stigmas, now you're talking about stigmas we put upon ourselves, anticipating what society's gonna, how they gonna handle us when we get out. So that's the whole. Now we getting deeper.
Well, I mean, we can say where we was at, but I'm just I was just thinking about how
we
we
ready to go there. We can go there.
I mean, hey,
But I'm just saying that we gonna get deep now.
man, this is a conversation,
You
man.
ready to go there?
We can get the people what they want,
Well,
So,
basically, what Mr. Rest is talking about is that now we getting off into the stigmatizations that us as returning citizens put on ourselves, and that's still sitting in prisons with the anticipation of release, and that's already saying to ourselves that we're not going to be able to get a job because we're ex-convicts. And we're going to be discriminated against. So that's what they call a preconceived stigma, is that we as returning citizens are already placing stigmas on ourselves before society even gets the opportunity. So now mentally, the effect that has on us, which would ultimately would lead to us not even engaging in the community, because we already perceive that the community is looking upon us negatively. So this stigmatization, it's a deep topic, man. So I'll give y'all opportunity.
I'm gonna say that because we all three of us we're pretty fresh coming out. So when I heard I was coming home, I got plenty of prison skills. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of the best orderlies known to the BOP. You know what I mean?
Hooch maker.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? Working in prison industries and all those type of stuff. So we know how to do, especially all the time that we did. We know how to do everything that's to be done in prison to have a job.
Right.
So now it's like now we getting ready to come home.
Uh-oh.
What type of skills I got? Man, I ain't really trying to be no janitor when I go home.
I've been a janitor.
Ain't no rec workers out there in society. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to work in Wendy's or McDonald's. When I was working in food service while I was in prison, I don't want to do that. How am I gonna put food on the table doing those type of jobs anyway? So it's like, what type of skills do I have? Okay, so a lot of us are book smart. Man, we done took these classes, correspondence classes through colleges and things like that, man. So okay, we have some information poured in us, but we don't have the application to go with that knowledge that we have. So I mean actually putting it to work. So it's like now you sitting in the cell, and a lot of times we're in the cell, we overthinking, we overanalyzing. So that preconceived stigma come, we put on ourselves like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna do it out there. Because it's a sense of the unknown. It's been so long since we've been out there. We know how to coexist, and we know how to operate and move and groove while we're in prison. Then all of a sudden, it's like, you going home.
Right.
Now what am I going to do?
We done imagined it. We done dreamed about it. We done talked about it while we was in. Man, I want to go out here. I think I want to do this. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to do that. I'm going to start my own business. How many times we done heard, man, I'm going to start my own business. But we ain't put no plan together. But we're going to start our own business. But we still thinking in our head, okay, even after all that talk we said we're going to do, we're starting the business. Then we say, damn, man, I'm going home for real. I said I wanted to do this, but am I going to be able to do this? Man, what if they don't give me no loan? What if they shoot me down? What if anybody want to give me a job, even though I'm a qualified culinary arts type dude? What, maybe I got my CDL license. Maybe they want to hire me because, man, my charge or how I've been messing up, or, man, I don't really know how to talk to people like that. So, man, I think they're going to shut me down. So, first thing we think about is going back to doing what we did to get locked up for.
Right.
Yeah,
All because of the preconceived stigmas.
Right,
so let's not lose sight
Yeah,
of
that's what it
why.
is.
Yeah, it's all because of the preconceived
Stigma.
stigmatization.
And then all this plays an effect on our mental. Then we stress, we anxious, we got anxiety.
Right. So that's when the substance abuse comes in.
That's when the substance abuse come in. That's when the negative thoughts come in.
Suicidal activities.
All that, man. All
Being
that.
reclusive.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Isolating ourselves, not
All
trust-
because of these preconceived stigmas that we place upon ourselves.
playing in our head.
And, but this, then to get deeper, this was instilled in us before we went to prison. This is not something that we pick up on in prison. This is instilled in us. This is society. It's still instilling this on us as children. We grow up watching television and listening to our parents, and is that you see the on the TV show, you see the jail guy with the pins, with the stripe uniform.
Striped uniform, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So as kids, we are already taught that these are the bad people. So
Right.
now, when we do go to prison, for whatever we do, when we do go to prison, now we automatically put this in our head that we're bad people.
We the bad
and so now when we know, like you say, it's time to get released, we already putting this negative connotation, these stigmas on ourselves, because that's what society taught us as children, that guys coming out of prison are bad.
Yeah, so we're bad people with this preconceived notion that that's who we are then, that's who we are now, and so on and so forth, right? But then we don't do any justice for people who are coming out with those preconceived notions, right? Let's say we've done time, and you have the preconceived notion of saying, well, I'm a bad person,
So I'm not going to be able to get a job.
so I'm not going to be able to do something about that or get a job.
Housing, all that.
Housing, you name it. Why is it that those who at the powers that be, right, they already know that we've been forgotten, overlooked, and abandoned, so we're not making it easier for them when you have this preconceived notion about who you are yourself.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's human nature when you get this notion, when this notion is instilled in you as a child. So, I mean, I don't know if you was asking why we do that to ourselves, but it's instilled in us. You know what I'm saying? That's just like looking, when you go out there and you cross the street, you're going to look both ways because that's what was instilled in you as a child to do. So
It's definitely, you're right.
the ex-convict is the bad guy.
But let me tell you
You're
this.
definitely right. It's harder to overcome the preconceived notion that you are a bad person coming out into the society, right? That's something that's going to be a lifetime of work trying to overcome that stigma. So you're right, Damien.
So this where, see y'all Black Table Talk listeners, we have a program called the Ready for Work program. And what it is that returning citizens coming home, whether it be male or female or both, which we have both in the cohorts right now, it's not our traditional job training. Like we gonna send you out and put you into a certain job, and you're learning while you're on the job. No, because returning citizens, we're different, and we've been in a different environment, a natural environment, unnatural that is. So we have this man named Thandor Miller, and he has a class called the Build Up.
The build up.
Building a better version of you.
Huh.
And he deals with the mental. And a lot of people that come in when they think about a Ready for Work program and they come in there and it's like, man, what do they got to do with getting a job? It got a whole lot to do about getting a job because we've been thinking one way in prison for so long that we come out with, and that's the institutionalization type thing going on with our head that we think, okay, because I ain't going to say we've been thinking a certain way for so long that we come out, we don't have no other choice but to think that same way because that's where we've been for so long. So Thandor comes in and he changes our thinking. Right. He gets deep down into our soul, man, and see what the issue is, and he wants to rewire some things.
Right, because we know how to work.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We know how to
it's
work.
Just that, the environment that we've been
working since slavery. We know how to work. It's just about knowing how to conduct yourself and the confidence that you need in yourself and trying to get rid of that negative connotations that the society place on us and that we place on ourselves, so that we're able to function effectively good.
And talk about
effectively in the workplace.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
We know how to work.
Right.
But now we're talking about functioning.
Right.
That's the key.
Right.
And like I say, we a lot of damage has been done upon ourselves because of these preconceived stigmas. And then when we come out to society is full of individuals with these stigmas. So like what we doing right now, we showing positivity and showing that ex-felons or returning citizens, whatever label we got,
Right.
Returning citizens
can be productive, positive, and pillars of the community. So that's what we doing. But we need the whole, you know what I'm saying? We need
Yeah, we all can agree that it's wrong for society to stigmatize returning citizens, to be prejudiced towards returning citizens, to even discriminate towards returning citizens. We can all agree that that's just wrong.
So look at us at the National Reentry Center Network. We dress in 2-3-piece suits every single day, 6 days a week. And we walk up and down the street, take bus, take train, whatever, go to restaurants, and people look at us and they don't feel threatened. They feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But you don't know who you're looking at. You don't know who you're dealing with. You got reentry people that's coming back into society. And through this program that we're in, the National Reentry Network program for returning citizens, we're trying to teach men and women how to be productive, progressive members of society, how to function into society, and leave that other stuff alone. Mm-hmm. Get out here and do something for yourself and maybe for the next man or woman if you can. Become a productive individual. I got people that look at me every day. They think I'm a businessman or something. I'm just the average Joe. I just have a suit on and a tie. But I don't let my past dictate my future. And through Mr. Thandor and through Mr. Stewart in this program and Federal City, I've learned that if I give myself a chance, I'm going to be all right. If I stop holding on to what other people think about me, because it's not really any of my business of what they think about me. As long as I be a man and stand up, do the best I can, take responsibility for my 50% of that dollar, and just move forward. Do the best I can. Mm-hmm. I work my butt off in prison. You give me an opportunity, not only me, but a whole bunch of guys and women that come out, give us a shot.
Yeah.
We will bust our butt.
Yeah.
Everybody's not the same. I work for 12 cents an hour. 12 cents.
Yeah.
I'm coming out here, I'm working for $10. I can do that.
You can do that.
I can do it and feel proud of it. I mean, happy.
And build from there.
And build.
Let me tell you something. We're talking about the preconceived stigma still. Man, when we was in prison, man, look, especially when we was in the pen, anywhere, but especially in the pens, man, you had a whole rack of men in that junk, man, that was go-getters. I mean, we would stand like gorillas in the midst and beat our chests and, man, well, I'm that man. You You know what I mean? Man, I wish you would test me. And not even on that. You have individuals, man, I'm going to be the best Christian. I'm going to be the best Muslim. I'm going to be the best businessman while I'm in prison. Whatever they did, we stood up and we beat our chest. This is what we do.
Yes, sir.
And you're not going to stand in the way of that. So when that stigma in our head, because when it comes to society, we fearful. That's a stigma that causes us to be fearful. And fearful is, that acronym is false evidence appearing real. We ain't even been out here yet. You talking about what they ain't gonna do? I mean, that's the boogeyman type thoughts. Yeah. So that stigma we need to kill. We can dead that, because the same way we doing it in prison, we can come out here and do the same thing, just a bigger arena, and we can't allow certain things, to hinder us. We understand what the world puts on us. We understand what our family puts on us. We understand what we put on ourselves sometimes. But when we have a fortitude of mind and heart before we come out, because we talking about preconceived stigmas. Man, cause I know I'm speaking from a personal standpoint. When they told me I got a shot at getting out, and then they told me I'm going to get out, I ain't know exactly what I was going to do. But when I came home, I said the easiest thing for me to get is a construction job. Mm-hmm. Didn't want to do it. But guess what I said? Man, I'm going to get my foot in the door, Slim, and I'm going to get an income coming in. Once I get in that door, then there's going to be some other doors that's opening. But I'm going to take that first thing. I ain't worried about what somebody going to think about me in society now. Man, so people, they so into themselves, man, and because what happened with COVID, man, they ain't really think about nobody else, but we be thinking, man, they looking at us wild. Man, I look, my persona said, man, I'm a returning citizen. Man, a lot of times, I ain't saying all the time, because, when we get to these establishments, we be trying to get a job, they be like, they can smell it.
That's the key, though.
Yeah, that's the key. But the key is with us.
Oh no, yeah. Like I said, when you're still in the mode of the preconceived, we got to get past that.
We defeated already when we do that.
Of course.
And people all the time will take that same "I'm a bad person," that preconceived stigma, and use it against us. For example, like with voting and things like that. They don't want to allow returning citizens the right to vote, even though it's a part of the democratic process. Mm-hmm. So they're already saying, because of these preconceived notions that you have about yourself, you making their job easier to take away our right to vote.
Well. I don't think necessarily I'm
not saying all returning citizens won't vote. Go ahead.
Hear me out. I don't think necessarily that our preconceived stigmatization that we place upon ourselves is affecting the people who make the choice that felons can't vote or things of that nature. That's their stigma. That's not preconceived. That's their stigma. That's society's stigmatization that they place upon us. Now, what we were doing in the past, well, I guess a lot of us still do. I don't, because I'm registered to vote now. Is that the preconceived stigma allows us to go along with it? Like, I'm a convicted felon. What the fuck? I don't vote. You know what I'm saying? I'm a convict. Convicts don't vote. You see what I'm saying? That's the preconceived stigmas that we place upon ourselves. That if in society, if you've been to jail, you don't participate in the
civic duty, right?
Right. That's the stigma we place on ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Now, the fact that a lot of states in our society don't allow us to vote, that's because of their stigmatization. That's not the preconceived stigmatizations we place upon ourselves.
Yeah, it's definitely their
stigmatization. We just go along with it.
Right.
That's our perceived stigmatization, because we go along with it. Like, yeah, I'm a convict. Ain't no need me fighting for my right to vote because I'm a convict. Convicts don't vote. That's just always been what's been instilled in us.
Not only don't vote, can't vote. Not even a don't, but a can't. So both of those are in our head.
Right. So even like in this city where we've got it passed where convicts can vote or returned citizens can vote, we still don't, because of the preconceived stigmatizations that bad people, returning citizens, convicted felons, don't participate in the political system. That's our preconceived.
Yeah, because what effect are we gonna have? What positive effect? We ain't
Right.
gonna mean nothing.
What's the
Well,
point?
our vote ain't gonna do nothing anyway. They already got who they gonna
Right.
put in office anyway.
Right. I never owned a business or nothing because I'm a convicted felon. I'm a returning citizen, so I never owned a business or anything like that. So what's the point of me voting? I ain't gonna never own no houses, so the zoning laws and the rules and the, you know what I'm saying, gentrification, none of that affects me because I'm a returning citizen. That's the preconceived.
And returning citizens don't take their civic duty seriously.
Right? True.
Because of our preconceived stigmatizations that we place upon ourselves. That's why we don't take it seriously, because we think the jailbirds don't get involved in that type of stuff. If you've been to jail, then that stuff don't involve you. That is our notion.
We got to break that though.
Right, of course. That's
We gotta break that.
That's what we talking about today.
You know what I mean? That's because there's plenty of crutches out there to help us walk.
And the thing about it is that
Right.
the thing about
Take it away, we gonna fall.
the thing about
Yeah.
the political arena is that a lot of the times the bills are being passed, the laws are being passed, they have more effect on us than anybody else. So of course we need to get involved. You know what I'm saying?
we do.
Of course we need to get involved because a lot of stuff that's being passed highly affects us. Whether you're talking about like the next topic we're gonna get into with this, the public safety. You know what I'm saying? Housing, all these things, all these bills that are being passed affects us directly, but we feel as though because of our preconceived stigmatizations that we are not allowed to get involved. Like it's not for us to get involved because of our past. You know, and that's something that we got to get away from.
Yeah, I'm a bad person. That preconceived notion carries on once I'm released and I, commit another crime. And here I am back in jail.
That's why I said when we were in, we poked our chest out in whatever we did. Whether it's the best knife maker, whether the best hooch maker, whether it's the best company man working in the factories, whatever we did, taking pride in being the best cook in the kitchen, man, hustling on the side, whatever the case may be, we poked our chest out in that. So we need to take that same mentality and what we were doing in prison and do it out there. Not out there, we out here already. Do it out here.
Yes, sir.
I mean, well, look at us around the table. I don't know if this is gonna be aired by video or just by audio, but look at us around the table now. All of us got on shirts and ties and a couple, got well on jackets, man. We got jobs, man. We in a podcast.
What?
Those preconceived stigmas and those defeated thoughts, man, is not affecting us.
No, they ain't in this room.
And that can go out to the airwaves of whoever listening.
Get
Yeah,
somebody else
And
on.
whoever they share it to. Because, man, I ain't gonna say we exceptions. We examples
An example.
of how we can come out, man, and make this joint happen, man.
It's definitely challenging. It's definitely hard. It almost feels like it's impossible to what you're talking about, Mr. Register. But these preconceived stigmas are something that's it's a drumbeat in the back of your mind. It's a drumbeat in the back of your mind.
Yeah, exactly what you said in the back of it.
So it
Keep
doesn't
it in the back,
right. It doesn't mean that it can't be overcome. To your point, because all we're doing is giving power to those that with the power at B, the right to treat us differently,
Right.
the right to discriminate against us, the right to hold a prejudice against us. And a person's mistake should not be with them for a lifetime.
Right.
Just like that stigma that you're talking about can be overcome.
Oh,
Will
absolutely.
be overcome.
Absolutely. Like I say, we gotta overcome it ourselves first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The stigmas we place upon ourselves, like we allow society to place on us and that we carry. We have to stop carrying that before society could change, because like I said, we think this way about ourselves that we're not going to be able to get employment, that we're not going to be able to be successful because we are returning citizens.
Public safety is one of the number one ways in which they measure that, right?
Right.
They feel that returning citizens are going to go out here, snatch an old lady's bag, for example, or something like that. Spook you on the bus, and then they'll use that stigma, that crime that was committed, as a way to label all returning citizens as a repeat offender, and we'll lose opportunities.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, that's what's happening.
And that's so sad.
I mean, Did you came home off Ira? Did you Joseph? You came home off the Ira? You just did your time? Came home.
I did my time. I came home 2017.
What about you, Dame? You came on Ira, you came on doing your own time?
I did 28 of that 32, man. That was my time.
So that okay, so you just did time. I know with the Ira, I came off the Ira, and off the Ira for everybody that's come home.
Explain a little bit.
I say what it is as individual. There's been a scientific study that men under the age of 23 and the crimes that we committed, they said, man, we was immature in doing those acts.
Brains wasn't fully functional.
We were functioning, but it wasn't mature, man. It was like we was acting irrational because we weren't able to act rational at that age, and scientific studies show this. So they bring everybody back who done 15 years or better, and they get a chance to get resentenced. They go look at the background from as a child all the way up to the grown years and their type of behavior and progress they made since they've been in prison. It don't have nothing to do with the charge. It's just about your upbringing and things of that man. That's why they have a mitigation specialist, like we had with Mr. Rhoda when she was in here. They go through all that to build a case to show, man, look, this is why he committed this crime. Look at the hell he went through.
His biological social disorder.
So of course he his activity was hell because he been through hell. So I came home off that, and the city really don't want it. The mayor was trying to shut that joint down, and you had a whole bunch of dudes who went to the returning citizens who came home off IRA, as well as individuals who just came home and there was a fight for the men to still come home off of it. But it's been under 3% of a recidivism rate. Because these we was youngins when we committed these crimes. So now, man, we 40, we 50, we 60, 65 years old when we come home. You think we gonna still come out here, man, put a pistol in our hand and go wild on the corner? Or just do the type of acts that we did? No, we done matured. Man, we ain't seen things for what they are now. And we trying to come home and be grandfathers. We as much of a father we can be to our children, more like, an advisor, because, they done grown and got their own kids now. But what I'm saying is that the recidivism rate is very low. So you can't use that and say we can't come out here and be productive. You can't say it, but they're saying there's public safety factor. There's too many people coming back from the city, from prison coming back to the city. Man, crime rate is gonna go up. How? The number just said, man, under 3% go back to prison from the IRA. That's why they didn't shut it down. But it's that whole thing about us being, they committed crimes before. All they do is go in there and learn how to be a better criminal, and then come back out and do the same things, better or worse.
Right, basically. So once you got that title, criminal, you keep that title. So even after you release, you still got that title.
It's like your number. You weird for life.
And if you look, a lot of these crimes I think now it's up to like 255 murders in the city. And the year ain't over yet. You look at the individuals who are committing these crimes, they're youngins. Ain't no old heads out there committing a whole rack of crimes. No. They might be getting locked up for drugs or vandalism, for breaking in and stuff like that. But these murder, all these wild crimes, the violent crimes and all that, it's the youngest doing that. And I ain't hating on the youngest right now. I'm just talking about the preconceived stigmas, or not even the preconceived,
public safety,
the public safety, the stigmas that society is putting on us, and we talking about the city. We know the rest of the United States doing it, but we talking about right here in the city. And Washington D.C., they be like, man, even though they be having a whole rack of programs for us for returning citizens, but they be like, man, we don't want them back into our neighborhoods because they gonna do this, they gonna do that. How?
Okay, can I let me get in there right quick. I want to say something about it. You told me a story about how you and Mr. Story went down Georgetown or somewhere, and y'all was having a talk, and these people were talking about how they were afraid of the homeless people outside. And man, I be telling people that story. Here it is. I was homeless. I used to sleep in the streets behind dumpsters and wear dirty, funky, stinky clothes every single day. And people looked down on me. Plus, I'm an ex-convict. And people looked down on me. They ignored me. They shied away from me. But yet and still now I got a 3-piece suit on, and you want to be near me. I'm the same guy. I'm the same ex-convict. I'm just looking different. I'm doing better than what I was. Stop looking at my past. I'm not him no more. We're not them no more. Because we're not the same people we were when we went in, like he said. We're different people trying to do different things. We're trying to progress, not regress. It's not us out there doing those carjackings and murders and robberies and all that stuff, stealing a dog. Are you serious? With a handgun, you're going to rob a person for a dog. We don't do that. We're trying to progress and live. But the program that he came out of, I've observed a lot of them guys have not gone back to prison. A lot of them. And it's a good program. They came out here and did something with themselves. But society has, what's that word, stigma?
Right.
Why?
Stigmatized us.
Why? Why you do that to everybody? Because it could be your child also. So you're saying if your child commits a crime, goes to prison, comes back, your child going to go back in prison. But you're going to stand up for your child or your relative or whoever. Oh, no, he's not going to do it again. He learned his lesson. Well, why can't I learn my lesson? I went out when I was 17 and came home when I was 51. I ain't been back to prison yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are stories of hope. Those are stories of love and compassion. Those are stories that give us, all the desire to do better ourselves, right? And we don't want to live in a world where people feel that stigmas and, someone being prejudiced towards you have you continuously stuck in the mindset of saying that preconceived stigma is going to have me think that all people are going to have me be forgotten, overlooked, abandoned. It's not so. The IRA program is an excellent example of that.
Not program, law.
Right.
Law.
Yeah, there was the Amendment Act that was passed. Ain't no program.
He said law.
The law became a program because it actually carried it out, right?
Yeah, it carried out.
And
but,
men and women came home and became productive citizens in society.
Yeah, it wasn't no program though. We ain't going no class for it. It was, it was something that actually was brought about and was put in legislation and became an Amendment Act.
I used it wrong.
So not a program. We got a program.
Yeah,
You know?
I used the wrong word, program. I used the wrong word. I apologize for
I
that.
did some studying on this, and one of the things I read is that as far as preconceived stigmas that we place upon ourselves, they say that Caucasians has a greater mental effect on Caucasian returning citizens than black. And they say one of the reasons were that, as black people, we're already used to being discriminated against. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, I just want you to think about this. We're so used to already being discriminated against that the fact that we know that when we get out, we're going to be discriminated against doesn't mentally affect us as much as a white man who is not used to being discriminated against. Now he's ready to be released. And so he had the mental effect of the stigmas that's about to hit him is mentally greater. That's what the studies say, that they have more problems with that than we do because we're so already used to the discrimination. So I thought that was interesting that they said, when they did the study on black and white returning citizens, that the white inmates have more problems adjusting, with the preconceived stigmatizations than blacks because of the fact that they're not used to being discriminated.
That's a mean study there.
It's a serious study. However, we shouldn't normalize preconceived stigmas, right?
Right.
That shouldn't be normalized.
Right.
Even though the study is saying that whites have it harder than blacks, it still should not be normalized to say that, well, because that is the case, this is all right to treat people any old kind of way.
Right.
We definitely not saying that it's all right. I just thought it was interesting that, it's basically saying, man, we used to the we used to the discrimination, so we able to, and it's probably a lot of truth in that.
Well, it definitely
You know
is.
what I'm saying? Because like I say, I've been black all my life. So, I know what, even in prison, of course in prison, most of their especially now that the DC inmates are in the federal system, you know, most of their prisons is in the mountains. You know, so, you know, when you get out the mountains, you got a bunch of hillbillies, you know, that not even used to being around black people. So now, you know, so I'm used to being discriminated against. You know what I'm saying? I've been living with that all my life. So like I say, it's you know, it's sad and it shouldn't be, but it's the absolute truth. You know what I'm saying? So me, myself, I probably was able to be more positive and more ready to get busy when I got out here because I already knew the feeling of the discrimination and I already made it up in my mind that I'm not going to allow this to stop me. You know, but now, you know, like I say, just speaking back on the study, you got a white person who's not used to being discriminated against. So they in jail thinking about, oh man, I'm not going to be able to get a job because I'm a convicted felon. I'm not
Right.
You know, but you know, it's the same as all of us do or may have considered. But I was just, you know, pointing out the study that.
Yeah, it's a good study. Like you said, blacks, their eyes are on the prize versus the whites who are having a much harder time with the preconceived notion of, you know, of stigma.
Well, that's not because we can't keep using us four at this table as because we are the exceptions. You know, and I mean that's sad to say, but that's the truth.
No, don't say exception, say example. Because there's four here, but there's a lot more out there, and we done seen them come through here.
Oh no,
you know what I mean?
please,
so you know, yeah.
Please don't get it twisted, because like you just said, you gave up real statistics on the hour law that, you know, it was only a 3% recidivism of all the people they let out on the hour. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a fact that we able to hold it together and do what we supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? But what I mean by I don't want to get off into saying like, because we on this topic for a reason, because it is affecting us. So I don't want to get off into saying that, you know, even saying because I gave up that study that was done, I just thought it was interesting. But even saying that, you know, we're succeeding more than the whites because of the fact that, you know, we still, as returning citizens as a whole, we're still hurting, you know, with these stigmas. So don't, you know, let's not get that twisted, because the point I'm making is that the majority of us do feel like that. That, man, look, man, when I get out of jail, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get me a gun and get me a pack because of the fact that ain't nobody gonna give me no job because I'm a convicted felon. That's still the stigma that's hurting us. You know, just because, like I say, just because my mediator said say the word example, just because us men here are setting a good example of what return to citizens can do, but it's still definitely a problem with return to citizens allowing the fact that society has the stigma that we're no good to affect their attitudes coming out here.
Right.
See, we didn't allow that.
Right.
You know, when I came out here, man, I said, man, look, man, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win, man. And you know, and that's what I've been doing. But like I say, I know many, many, many brothers who thought pattern was like, man, I don't know how to do nothing else but hustle.
Mm-hmm.
And they go right back in the
and ain't nobody gonna give me no job. So I'm going out there to do what I know how to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that, you know, that's the people that we're trying to reach, that, you know.
But look here, man. I know we said we gonna do 30 minutes of power, man. We done went to 43 minutes. So, Black Tabletop family, man, we gonna shut this joint down. Man, I hope y'all got some good insight. Hope y'all was inspired. I hope, you know, you learned a few things through us. And, you know, we'll always come back and give you a little more. Here at the National Reentry Network for Returning Citizens Black Table Talk podcast, man. We hope that we're able to bring you more content, stronger content. Give us some feedback of what's going on. You know, y'all been listening to stuff, but we don't get a lot of feedback. So, like we always say, man, we signing off, but we never signing out because there's always work to be done. Boots to the ground. Y'all be good. Have a good night.